In this video, I will tell you everything you need to know about HR 3394, the eligibility criteria for an accredited investor for purposes of participating in private offerings of securities. And by the end of this video, you will learn exactly what this groundbreaking legislation changes, the 5 new pathways to becoming an accredited investor, including a brand new test option, and how this could dramatically expand your investment opportunities beyond traditional stocks and bonds. I'm Santiago Cueto, board-certified international business law expert and best-selling author based right here in Miami, Florida. And I've spent years helping clients navigate securities law and investment opportunities, and what's happening right now is one of the most significant changes to investment access in decades. Let's start with the basics. For decades, everyday Americans have been locked out of some of the most lucrative investment opportunities. I'm talking about private equity and venture capital, hedge funds, startup investments. These opportunities have only been reserved for the wealthy elite. Why? Well, because of something called accredited investor status. This designation determines who can legally participate in private security offerings. Without it, you simply cannot invest in these opportunities. The law doesn't allow it. Under the old rules, becoming an accredited investor was straightforward but limiting. You needed to be rich. That's it. Either you had an annual income of at least $200,000 for the past 2 years, or $300,000 if you counted your spouse's income. The other option was having a net worth exceeding $1 million, not counting your primary residence. Think about that for a moment. A brilliant financial analyst who studies markets every single day couldn't invest in private offerings. A seasoned investor with years of experience was locked out. Why? Because the law only cared about how much money you already had, not your knowledge, not your expertise, and not your professional background. That's where 2 powerful pieces of legislation changes everything. First is HR 3394, the Fair Investment Opportunities for Professional Experts Act. The second is HR 3339, the Equal Opportunity for All Investors Act. Together, these 2 bills revolutionize who can invest in private markets. The House recently passed both bills, which now sit in the Senate awaiting consideration. If they pass and the President signs them, the Securities and Exchange Commission will have to implement these changes. This means the new pathways could take effect later this year. So what exactly do these bills change? Well, together they create 5 distinct pathways to accredited investor status. Let me break down each one. Pathway number 1 preserves the net worth test. You can still qualify if your net worth exceeds $1 million. The calculation excludes your primary residence. HR 3394 requires the SEC to adjust this threshold for inflation every 5 years. Pathway number 2 keeps the income test. You need an individual income exceeding $200,000 in each of the 2 most recent years, or joint income with your spouse exceeding $300,000. Like the net worth threshold, these income figures will be adjusted for inflation every 5 years. Pathway number 3 focuses on professional licenses. This is brand new under HR 3394. If you hold a current license related to financial services, you can qualify. This includes registration as a broker, registration as an investment advisor, or any securities license issued by the SEC, FINRA, or state securities divisions. Your license must be in good standing, no disciplinary actions or suspensions. Pathway number 4 is the education and experience pathway, also new under 3394. This allows qualification based on demonstrable education or job experience. The SEC will determine specific criteria through future regulations, but the concept is professional knowledge related to a particular investment. Let's say you're a software engineer with 15 years in artificial intelligence. A startup in the AI space wants to raise capital. Your expertise in AI technology could qualify you as an accredited investor specifically for that investment. FINRA must verify your education or job experience. Now here's the revolutionary 5th pathway. Pathway number 5 comes from HR 3339. This is the test option. The SEC must create an examination that individuals can take to become accredited investors. No wealth requirement, no income requirement, just pass the test. This is huge. And if you're finding this information valuable, hit that like button right now and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss updates on these bills. These changes affect millions of Americans. Let's make sure everyone understands their rights. Now let me tell you more about this accredited investor exam. The SEC has 1 year after enactment to create it, and FINRA will administer the test. And here's the best part. The test must be offered free of charge to the public. What will the test cover? Well, the exam must determine whether you understand different types of securities, financial statements and their analysis, risks associated with private investments, the limited liquidity of private securities, disclosure requirements for different offerings, and valuation methods for private companies, and longer investment horizons. The test cannot be impossibly difficult. The law specifically says it must be designed at an appropriate level. An intelligent investor with financial training should be unlikely to fail it. This isn't meant to keep people out. It's meant to ensure people understand what they're getting into. This democratizes investment access in an unprecedented way. A teacher who studies finance in their spare time could pass the test. A young professional without knowledge, but with knowledge, could qualify. Anyone willing to learn about private investments can gain access. The implications are enormous. Private companies can gain access to a much larger pool of potential investors. More investors mean more competition for deals. More competition means better terms for investors. For individuals, this opens doors that were previously locked. You can now invest based on knowledge rather than our arbitrary wealth requirements. H.R. 3394 and H.R. 3339 represent a fundamental shift in how we think about investor protection. The old system assumed only wealthy people could handle investment risk. The new system recognizes that knowledge and expertise matter just as much as wealth. So if you're a licensed financial professional, H.R. 3394 could transform your options immediately. And if you have deep expertise in an industry, you may soon qualify through the experience pathway. And if you're willing to study and pass a test, H.R. 3339 opens the door regardless of your wealth. Both bills need to pass the Senate. So stay informed about their progress. Contact your senators if you support expanding investment access. Remember that private investments carry significant risks. These securities lack liquidity. You must conduct thorough due diligence before investing in any private offering. Now, if you found this video helpful, like it and subscribe for more content on business law and securities regulations. I'm Santiago Cueto, your Florida business attorney. Be sure to watch more of my videos right here.